Hi folks, welcome to your mwis Friday Planner in association with Ellis Brigham. I'm afraid it's a pretty poor outlook for this weekend as low pressure is over the top of us, and that fairly unsettled trend is looking to be a common theme through the middle part of August, although there is a window of better weather as we go into next week. Let's just dive straight in and have a look at the rainfall sequence through this weekend. Everything continues to rotate around an area of low pressure parked across Scotland, basically through the next day or so. Fronts and troughs wrapped around that low will just bring some areas of constant rain and some heavy and thundery downpours. Areas of rain already into West Wales and the Lake District in the morning, some zones of rain too for central and eastern Scotland. Increasingly through the day on Saturday, some heavy torrential thundery downpours will break out across the Highlands, those really moving around slowly, so you could get that sat on you for quite a while. More focused across western and central regions, if anything. The further north and the further northeast you are across Scotland, maybe a better chance for escaping comparatively drier, but it's maybe all things relative. And areas of rain will continue to feed in from the west across England and Wales. The Peak District, the eastern side of the Pennines, may be escaping for periods as the more constant rain is focused on the Windward Mountains across Irish Sea coast, but that will just continue to feed its way in, and even here some heavy bursts may contain a rumble of thunder. As we skip the story on into Saturday evening and night, and we'll now be in 3-hour steps as we head onwards towards Sunday, you'll just see how the rainfall totals continue to mount up. And again, it's going to be across Scotland, where rain that will continue overnight will then be around into the daytime, and some further slow-moving downpours will affect much of Scotland through Sunday. Showers still coming in from the west across England and Wales, maybe a little bit more broken up at times across Wales and Pennine areas, but for the Lake District I think it will be quite frequent still through the day, with again the risk of some heavy and thundery bursts mixed in. Meanwhile, a frontal system is approaching from the southwest and might just get into South Wales later on in the day. So to put the synoptic chart onto that, there's Saturday. Low pressure is parked just over Scotland and all the various weather features rotating around it. Temperature's nothing particularly special, and where the rain is around, the cloud will shroud the hills extensively. You'll do well if you get any breaks to higher tops, but locally away from the rain you might just get 1 or 2 cloud breaks, but the exception rather than the rule. Sunday is a similar story, a bit windier across central and southern Scotland, light winds still toward the northern parts of the Highlands, a general westerly wind will be brisk across England and Wales, and it's still just that idea, as we saw, of areas of rain pretty widespread. Into Monday, and low pressure is still on the scene, I'm afraid, and it's still some further heavy showers, the risk of thunder in places. The greatest risk of those may be transferring towards eastern Scotland by Monday afternoon, and western areas may just improve a touch as pressure begins to build a little from the west, so some brighter spells maybe around western coasts through Monday afternoon and evening. Showery conditions again across the lakes, the Pennines. Wales may be a bit more scattered with some brighter spells, staying quite breezy for England and Wales, and temperatures remain rather on the cool side. Now, looking for a window of better weather, and Tuesday seems to be it at this stage, with a ridge of high pressure, albeit quite weak, just coming up from the south, and the previous area of low pressure weakening and moving away eastwards. There may still be a few residual showers left in amongst this, particularly across more eastern parts of Scotland, 1 or 2 maybe just around western coasts early in the day, but on balance it looks a better day for dry and bright conditions, some sunshine around, some cloud breaks to higher tops, and feeling a little bit warmer, and the wind speeds that little bit lighter. It does look like a short-lived window, because look what's waiting in the wings out to the west. There's another weather system coming in, and that is set to move in as we head into the second half of the week. We have a few questions in terms of the timing though at this stage. Now this chart shows fronts coming in quite quickly into Wednesday. Now this might be slower, this might be a bit further west out to the west of Ireland at this point, so I'm not going to quite nail down Wednesday's ideas yet. There's some warm air that's coming up from the south ahead of these fronts, so temperatures will be higher by this stage, could become very warm for central and eastern parts of England. We just need to watch then to see how soon any further rain and strengthening winds come in from the Atlantic. Now, it must be said the uncertainties in the middle of the week will really dictate how things pan out late in the week, and we need to watch things carefully at this stage. There's not clear-cut story between some of the computer simulations at this stage. It's likely that things become unsettled again. Basically, low pressure clears off to the east from early in the week, and another low comes in from the west, quite an active feature over the Atlantic. It's how much that gets in terms of how bad it becomes, how soon, basically, later in the week. It's quite a slow-moving feature. It's almost detached from the main jet stream flow over the North Atlantic. It's sort of going to circulate around on itself for a while out to the west of us. Now, it might just mean that any of the fronts, the rain and the showers, stick a bit more out over Ireland for a while. It might just get into western Scotland increasingly Wednesday into Thursday, but more eastern regions could just get away with a few more drier days at this stage, maybe even across much of Wales. Might just be in the clear for a while. I won't promise that at this stage, but you might just get a day or so longer. It does seem, though, that low wants to come in, so some rain will come in at times, some further showers likely. And I think the idea late in the week is that things are mixed at best and at worst could be back to being rather unsettled again. So not a great deal we can do at the moment with the forecast for next weekend and beyond. This may be the general trend is as good as we can do from one of the forecast simulations, and this taking us through the middle of August, then the week as a whole through until the 19th, and it's the pressure anomaly averaged out over 7 days, and it suggests that lower than average pressure is still frustratingly in our part of the world, with big zones of high pressure not a million miles away, but tantalisingly in the wrong place for us at this stage. It might just be that those highs that exist over the North Atlantic and around Scandinavia just start to squeeze down from the north a little bit, and that low begins to retreat somewhat more towards Biscay with time. It might mean that southern Britain gets into something thundery again, but northern regions start to improve. That may be the trend as things go forwards, because many indications further onwards into August do see higher pressure being on the scene across Britain. It's just not quite there yet. So I think there is improving trends further onwards, but for the time being, for the middle of the month, I should suspect we stay with something rather mixed or unsettled, with some bursts of rain and some thunderstorms in the forecast at times. We shall continue to monitor those developments. All your local forecasts for your next 3 days, of course, every day on the MWis website. That's your planning outlook in association with Ellis Brigham. Thanks for watching today. Bye for now.